this video, I'll be sharing with you why you need to read books. As a 9 to 5er who plans on quitting their job in the nearest future or not, maybe you are just a 9 to 5er who still wants to remain on your job, you want to grow a side income, you want to have multiple streams of income, you want to put yourself on social media so that you can acquire clients, customers, so that you can attract employers. You need to read books. You are a business owner who wants to put their business, their products, their services out there on social media in a way that you attract the people that will buy from you. You need to read books. You are just an individual who wants to become a thought leader, put yourself out on social media, build a personal brand, position yourself as a valuable individual so that you can get speaking engagements, you can have clients, render services, sell products if you want to. You need to read books. And I will start with a quote. This is a quote I found on a book divider that someone sent to me. The world is divided into two groups of people: those who read books and those who do what those who read books say. Should I read that again? The world is divided into two groups of people: those who read books and those who do what those who read books say. I had followed this creator before 2023, and in January 2023 I told myself that I was going to buy all their products, all their services, and I just wanted to know more of what this creator was doing. And then in January 2023, this creator released a digital product. It was a course, very short course, very affordable and very cheap, and so I quickly bought it. I took the course and I was blown as usual. I just felt, oh my god, this person is doing amazingly well. I got a lot of information, valuable information and resources from that course that I even had idea paralysis. I was struggling to implement and I couldn't do anything. Fast forward to 2 months after, a friend recommended a book for me to read. I read this book and I was pissed at myself because a ton of the things that that particular creator had put into their course, they got from this book. Do you now get why this quote makes sense? Two groups of people: those who read books and those who do what those who read books say. And I find this quote or this saying to be so true because it has happened to me. Early 2023, I stumbled on this particular creator who was doing amazingly, or who is currently doing amazingly on social media. This creator's content, top-notch, valuable, insightful, impactful, name it. And I just told myself, I want to be this creator. I want to have this creator's brain. Because a lot of people in our generation are lazy, a lot of people do not have the discipline to sit down to read books. Those who are able to sit down to find this information, to do the research, tend to be the thought leaders. It begins to look like they are the ones growing, they are the ones having the information. It's just simply because you have not gone out there to seek the information and to seek the knowledge. And this is one of the reasons why you need to read books. If you read books, you will find that a lot of things that people are saying, you have an idea about them, because you have exposed yourself to that information. Number 2 reason why you need to read books as a person who wants to put themselves out on social media is that you get a ton of valuable information from books. I listened to a podcast by Andrew Huberman. He was interviewing Adam Grant, the author of Think Again and Hidden Potential. And Adam Grant made a profound statement. He said he's okay with his social media content being a 6/10, but he ensures that he goes for a 9/10 with his books. And this is assuming that with his books he cannot get a 10/10. He said he puts a ton of effort into his books, so much. Now, when you read books, you are getting good, valuable information because these authors, these creators, they spend a lot longer time writing these books. They research because you don't want to be called out for giving out wrong information in your book. You don't want to be the thought leader that is teaching people wrong things. So these creators or these authors go out to look for this exclusive information. They go as far as looking for scientific journals, scientific experiments, just to prove the things that they have said. And that is why it is very important, or it will serve you well if you read books as a person who wants to put themselves out on social media. Because these people, a lot of time, have carried out a lot of experiments to prove to you that what they are telling you is valuable. So if you cannot do the work of researching, if you cannot do the work of experimenting, read the books of the people who have experimented and who have researched. A third reason why you need to read books is that books are a condensed 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years of a person's life experiences. If you had the opportunity to sit down with a top creator in your industry, you'll be overwhelmed with information. You may not even be able to get the information that they want to give to you, because discussing 30 years of their life is impossible, in a sitting. And even if you sat with them for them to discuss their lives, their challenges, and all of those things with you, you are going to leave out on a lot of valuable information. But with books, when you find an idea in a book that is impactful, that blows your mind, you can pause it, regurgitate it, ruminate on it, think about it over and over again, and then come back to continue reading. The book stays with you, the information stays with you for as long as you want it to. You can always go back to check when you begin to practice, when you begin to implement. If you find that you forget something, you can always go back to you. Books stay longer with us. I think that should be a fourth point. Books tend to stay longer with us. The digital creator Dan Cole said something like this in his podcast when he mentioned that if you read a person's book, their ideas, their thoughts, their perspectives tend to stay longer with you. And this is because you have access to the information as long as you want to have access to it. Even when the creator or the author dies, you still have access to their knowledge. You have access to their insights. A practical example is Miles Monroe. We can see that a lot of Miles Monroe's insights, perspectives are still being shared, and that's because he has packaged them in books. He has packaged them in valuable resources, and so they are still here with us. A fifth reason why you need to read books as a person who wants to transit from 9 to 5 into the remote work, or as an individual who just wants to put themselves out on social media, is for the sake of personal growth. And one valuable thing that I do with my life is that I always identify any aspect of my life that I am lagging, any aspect of my life that requires improvement, and I find books in that aspect of life. So for example, I have identified that I struggle with delegation. A lot of times I hire people, I have interns, and I find that I struggle with delegating. I forget that I have interns and still do the job myself. And so what have I done? I've gone to get Brian Tracy's books on delegation, a lot of other books on delegation, so that I am able to up that skill, so that I am able to grow myself, because being able to grow all these aspects of your life makes you a valuable person, right? So if you struggle with putting yourself out on social media, begin to identify the different aspects of putting yourself out on social media that you want to improve on. Do you struggle with shooting of videos? Do you struggle with sitting down in front of the camera and confidence and articulating your thoughts? Buy books on communication, buy books on how to shoot videos, buy books on speaking, buy books on, there are books like speaking like TED or talking like TED, something like that. There are books on how to speak to anyone, anywhere, anytime, and books like that can help you improve on your speaking. Buy books on social media management, social media marketing, content marketing, so that you are able to improve individual aspects of your life. The sixth reason why you need to read books is for the sake of critical thinking. And this is because when you read different books, you are exposed to different insights, different perspectives, different ideologies, and all of that. Now, a person says, post content 10 times a day, and they give you context around the reason why they believe or why they feel you should post content 10 times a day. And then you stumble on another creator, and another creator says, post content according to how you feel you can put out content. And then they give you their own perspective. When you put all these perspectives and arguments together, you are able to draw a reasonable conclusion for your own life that ends up working for you. If a creator says post content 10 times a day, and you go on to post content 10 times a day without seeking content, without trying to look for other arguments and other perspectives, you'll just find that you are failing. And that's because you have not sought context, you have not sought other arguments, other perspectives to see what works for you. So if you want to put yourself out on social media, read books so that you are able to think critically as regards the different moving parts of putting yourself out on social media. If a person says build a personal brand instead of a business brand, why are they saying build a personal brand instead of a business brand? What are the arguments behind building a personal brand instead of a business brand? Right? And this is why you need to read different books from different authors so that you can get their perspectives, get their own insights, get their own arguments. The sixth and final reason why you need to read books is for the sake of vocabulary expansion. To prove that you are a thought leader in a particular industry, you have to understand the jargons and terminologies of the industry and break it down to people who do not understand it, or break it down to people who you want to attract. But how do you break down the jargons and the vocabulary when you yourself do not know the jargons and the terminologies? If you read books in your industry, you'll be able to understand the terminologies and the context in which these terminologies can be used. If you're a gift curator, read books about curating gifts, about the gifting industry. If you're a fitness coach, read books about fitness. If you want to put yourself out on social media, read books about content creation, content marketing, personal branding, marketing. If you're an interior decorator, read books about interior decoration. When you are able to expand your vocabulary, you find that you are also able to communicate your message clearly to a particular audience or to the people that you want to attract. I think I'll give you a seventh or final reason why you need to read books, and it is so that you can get inspiration for both content ideas and product ideas. And as regards this, I'm going to tell you a story that I hope that you understand. I stumbled or heard this story recently, and it makes sense in this context. An astronomer in the 15th century named Galileo Galilei, I think that's the name. He postulated that the solar system comprises of the sun in the middle and planets revolving around it. I mean, what they taught us, or what they teach basically in geography now. When he postulated this, or when he came up with this idea in the 15th century, he was bashed. His books were banned. I think he was locked up or something. I can't remember. But, they said it wasn't true. And they said that the correct way that the solar system existed was that the earth was in the middle and then the sun was revolving around it. Galileo had postulated that the sun was in the middle, but he was banned for his work, so he kept quiet. He shut up. Fast forward to decades or years later, another astronomer started to reiterate the things that Galileo had said, and his name is Nicholas Copernicus. And Nicholas said that he believes, or he agrees with Galileo, that the sun was in the middle, that the sun is in the middle, and that so many planets revolve around the sun. Nicholas Copernicus was arrested, his books were banned, and they shut him up and blah 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 and all of that. I started to ask myself a question. How did these people get to know about the planets? Did they go there? What's the problem? How did they find out, about all these things? How did they postulate these things, talking about the planet? Why did Nicholas agree with Galileo? How are they coming about, all these theories and things like that? And so it led me to read Nicholas Copernicus's biography. And I'll read out what I found. Inspiration came to Copernicus not from observation of the planets, but from reading two authors, Cicero and Plutarch. And I just stopped there and I was like, this is it. You get inspiration for your product, your service, for your books from reading other people's books. Don't sit down to do the hard work of looking for inspiration from nowhere. No. Technology has made it easier. You have access to other people's brains faster. You have access to other people's brains through their YouTube channels, through their resources, through their blogs, through their articles. You have access to their minds and the things they are thinking about. So if you want to create more products, create more services, you can further improve on products that they have created. You can further improve on books that they have written. You can further improve on theories that they have written. For example, there was a time that a lot of creators used to say, if you want to put yourself out on social media, if you want to get a lot of social media followers, post as many times as possible. There's hardly any creator saying that right now because they have improved on that knowledge. And the way they improved on that knowledge is by reading about that knowledge and drawing the loopholes from that particular knowledge. So if you want to gain inspiration for more content ideas, more digital products, more services, read books of other people, see what they are doing, and draw inspiration. So we've come to the end of this video. What do I have for you? You can join the waitlist for my mentorship program. My mentorship program is starting in August, and it is a mentorship program basically for people who want to put themselves out on social media, and for newbie copywriters. You want to make money from writing, copywriting, content writing, writing articles for people, for brands. This mentorship is for you. It is a 3-month mentorship session, and the cost is in the description box. Join the wait list, and there's going to be an early bird fee and there's going to be a late bird fee. I'm currently mentoring the second cohort, and the third cohort is going to come up in August. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Run with Susan or Susan Adesina. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and see you next week for another video.